Hello, how's it going? Welcome to the program. My name is Ethan, and you are watching Stinky Platinums, a weekly video game news show and coping mechanism. It's a way for me to iron out my addiction to some of the shovelware trash that has easy PlayStation trophies. That's right. Every week we do this show. This is our third week now, and I've been liking the pace on it. There's still some things I'm testing, and there's still some things that I want to try and maybe remove or figure some stuff out still. But I'm liking doing this every Saturday, and I'm liking this kind of late night time slot that I've been giving it. But yeah, as always, we have 6 kind of topics to talk about across 2 Stinky Platinums that I'm going to be playing. These are, indie games, and yes, for the most part, shovelware. But these are games that, generally speaking, have extremely easy trophy lists. You can complete them oftentimes in under an hour, many cases at least under 4. And they range from honest attempts at indie games and like actual shovelware trash. We're always going to start with one of these actual shovelware asset flipped trash, and then we'll pick another one off of this list here. I have a whole thing down there that has my assumptive rankings on how much I think attention-wise or time they might take. So we're going to be going through those as we talk about these news topics. These are topics I'm interested in, and I would like to talk about them. Before we get into that, tomorrow is an actual new episode of the Sonic Movie Show. I know last week I said that, and then Sunday rolled around, and we didn't have one. There was some scheduling issues on my part. It was my fault. But tomorrow is a new episode for sure, and it is a recap of Sonic Central 2024, that a sub 30-minute Nintendo Direct style pre-recorded video segments of Sonic news stuff that Sega puts out seemingly now every year. So I'm not going to talk about any of that here, because you'll hear Devin and I's full opinions and thoughts on it tomorrow. And then the week after tomorrow will be the episode that I was supposed to put up last week. So stay tuned for those. This actually kind of worked out with a bit of our scheduling thing. We got people going on vacation and whatnot. So yeah, games I've been playing. I haven't played too much since, honestly, last week. I went back into the Castlevania Advance Collection because I am now, at this point, I would say easily a third of the way through Aria of Sorrow, game 3 of 4 in that collection there. So I'm getting decently close to being able to put that whole collection to bed, get that platinum trophy out of the way, and being able to move on to probably the DS collection or the Dominus collection that they put out a month or 2 ago. In any case, besides that, folks probably saw the stream from yesterday or the stream from last week. I think it was on Sunday last week. Been going through Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake. And the captions just disappeared. That's odd. Weird. Maybe, well, we'll see if they pop back up. Very strange. My mind has been kind of blown at how good Metal Gear 2 is for the MSX2. Like, a significantly better game than Metal Gear the original. And I had never played it before. I'd only played the Metal Gear Solid games. So to play the actual 8-bit originals have been fun. I've been having a lot of fun, especially with Metal Gear 2, like I said. That's kind of it for what I've been playing. UFO 50 has been on the back burner on my PC. I've been meaning to go back and play more of it. I hear some testimonials from people about some of the games in UFO 50, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's a really cool idea. Buddy, like, there's like a clicker idle game style thing as one of the games, and it operates while you're playing some of the other games, and there's cool, weird meta mysteries and like finding secrets in each game. Hey, the captions are back up. UFO 50 is definitely something I want to dive way more into. And I kind of wish it was on consoles right away. It's just on PC with a Switch version at least announced sometime down the line. I won't expect to see that until probably summer of next year. But okay, why don't we hop into our first news kind of story here and our first game. As always, I have 18 left of these jumping games. I got more on my wish list, so by the time we are kind of getting to the last few of these left, whenever there's a sale, these games are $3 each. Sales typically are $2 each. So like next time they're on a sale, I'll just pick up the rest of them. And then of course there's PS4 versions of them as well. And then there's other styles of these asset flipped games. So we're never going to run out of these. I might eventually jump into doing 2 of them a week if I know I can grab like 100 of these for real cheap across various sales. I've been avoiding the turbo ones for these streams just because they go faster, but I don't think it matters anyway. But we're gonna do the jumping cookie, sure, as we talk about our first kind of news topic here. It was funny. This was what, Thursday? No, this was Tuesday. Was the PlayStation State of Play, and before that was the Sonic Central in like the morning-ish. But sandwiched between those was a Tekken presentation. I guess Tekken TGS kind of coincided with that, TGS Tokyo Game Show. But they always do these Tekken talks, where they get the director, producers of the games to kind of talk about the future of Tekken, what's going on in the moment. And generally now these have been around whenever a new character is like, we're ready to really show this character off, they're around the corner. And so everyone knows, obviously, the kind of face of Tekken, or one of the 2-3 faces of Tekken's, Heihachi Mishima, is returning to Tekken 8. Folks might remember he dies in the story mode of Tekken 7 at the end there. And I thought it was fitting. I thought the whole story in Tekken 7 was very lackluster, but just abstractly the idea of that story of father versus son conflict that we're building up to the death at the end there was cool and compelling. I was excited to see that. The whole thing was, but they had like no money because Tekken Tag 2 sold like shit, even though it was on multi-platform for the first time, and Soul Calibur was doing bad, and like pretty much everything Namco was doing was kind of poor in that fighting game space and whatnot. Roll around to Tekken 8 and they have more money than ever because Tekken 7 sold the best out of every Tekken game. It was one of the best-selling fighting games of all time. And that game's story mode was, again, father and son, but it was the son and his son this time around. It was obviously Jin fighting his father. But going into Tekken 8, there was like, one last character for the base roster they had yet to reveal, and I'm thinking like, well, I know everyone's talking about like how Eddie wasn't in the game, and maybe they'll bring him back, and maybe they'll reinvent him. They would eventually. He's the first DLC character. Or it's a guest character, or it's Heihachi, because, story reasons they want to like impact that. No, it was Reina, who's another story-related character, who's brand new. So going into DLC, I'm like, well, are they gonna actually respect the fact that Heihachi is dead? I mean, his body was thrown into lava in a volcano. So, like, you could just say, oh, yep, he's gone. Or are they gonna bring him back, and if so, when? And I'm gonna be honest, the fact that Heihachi has come back this early, the fact that he's the third DLC character, he's not even, like, the triumphant climax of a season, feels weird to me. Now, there's 4 DLC characters for the season. While they haven't announced a Season 2, they're going to. I'm sure it sold very well. Tekken 8 sold very well, just in general. So they're going to do more DLC characters, for sure. There's going to be another season, and they have acknowledged that people really want Tifa from Final Fantasy VII to be in the game. We got the Platinum Trophy in this. I'm going to keep this going for this first news story here. So there's still one left. We had Eddie at the beginning, cool, classic Tekken 3 character. People love him. Generally speaking, frowned on in Tekken 7. I don't remember correctly. I don't think he could sidestep, as I think the capoeira kind of movement, maybe they decided they wanted to lean into having a disadvantage for him in that regard and give him an advantage elsewhere. He couldn't sidestep, and that was weird. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I never really played him all that much. That was when I was like, I'm only going to play as Jin. Now in Tekken 8, I'm hopping between a few different characters. I mean, still just play Jin. So he came back. Tekken 8's second DLC character was Tekken 7's final DLC character, Lydia, who is in the fiction of the game the Polish Prime Minister, who does some more traditional karate in her fighting style. That was cool that she came back. It came with a stage, I think, for free for everyone. I had the Season 1 pass, so I knew I was going to get it regardless. And then now we have Heihachi, and he has a cool stage coming with him that is paid for. I assume I get that in my pass. It would be weird if it wasn't. And he's changed up a bit. DLC is where you, for fighting games, DLC characters is where you do the reinvention. I think if, like Eddie, for instance, because he's an install character, and so is Heihachi now, it's a little bit differently. That type of thing of like, oh, you're doing things to then get stronger, and then do you cash them out? You know what I mean? And some new mechanics in these characters. To have a character like goes away and like, oh, actually, yes, they're in the base roster of the next game, and now they're very different. I generally think people tend to frown on that more than I think they realize is fair. Like, I look at this like, there are some characters in fighting games that you should never remove. Street Fighter V is a perfect example of there are characters missing that's like, why? Guile wasn't in the game at launch. He was the second DLC character. He's one of the original 8 World Warriors in Street Fighter 2. Blanca, and E Honda, those were, I think, Season 3 and 4 characters for Street Fighter V. It's like, I personally have no interest in playing as Blanca or E Honda, and honestly not that much as Guile when that game came out. But it was like, no, they need to be in the game. Like, that's Street Fighter. And so Tekken, obviously, Heihachi is one of them, but they have a story reason why not. Okay, fine. But for a lot of people, Eddie was one of them. If they had a massive reinvention of Eddie, like they kind of do, but in the base roster, that's generally where people tend to be like, oh, I don't like that they did that. Why did they change him up? That's not cool. But when it's DLC, it almost has this mystique of like, ooh, they've done something neat and interesting here. Like, and I feel that personally. Street Fighter 6 is first DLC character for Season 2 was the return of Bison, famous Street Fighter villain. He wasn't in the game because he dies in Street Fighter 5, which took place before Street Fighter 3, but he wasn't in that game. It's weird. And that character's really cool. Like,